This week, I'll be talking about Lil Baby's new album, Wham. And 2025 has started out with a bang because we got two big time freestyles I want to jump into. Let's talk about it.
The STEM Society.
Welcome back to the STEM Society. My name is Cole Jackson, and this is episode 77. Man, Happy New Year's 2025. This is the first episode of the new year. I'm excited, man. I can't wait to be able to give you guys a lot of content, some new content, and everything. Thank you for coming back to the show, and thank you for coming back to the channel. I appreciate it. Before I get into the show or get too deep in anything, I just want to say thoughts and prayers to everyone who lost someone in the two situations that happened in the U.S., in New York and in Louisiana. I don't want to get too deep into what happened. I just want to say thoughts and prayers. Hopefully things get better over there, but I just want everybody to know that it saddens me to see those types of things in the news, and I just hope that things can get better. That is not the way to start 2025. So hopefully everybody can heal from this and get better from this.
New releases.
All right, so the first major album to come out in 2025 is Lil Baby. He dropped his new album called Wham, 15 tracks, 41 minutes long. This is about as average as you're going to get. I had very high hopes for this album, and it is very mid. Like, it is very mid. How do I want to break this down? Let's start off with the good. Let's give you the good side of things. One, I think he started off the album very well with Dumb, Dumb and Dumber. Primed us up to think that this album was going to be way better than what it was when he had the track with Young Thug and Future. I think Young Thug's verse on here was very good for him to put out his first verse after getting out of jail. I think that was really good. I like the fact that he had Glorilla on here. Glorilla was on the song Redbone, which I think she had a tremendous verse. Actually, I feel like she slid on Lil Baby on that one. There are some standout tracks on here. Fuck you 2 times, Redbone, Dumb, Dumb and Dumber. It really felt like Lil Baby just didn't want to rap. It sounded very lackluster. There were a lot of songs on him where I just felt like I didn't know what the hell he was saying because he just didn't want to. He didn't want to rap, or it just felt like he just couldn't get the words out correctly. Another thing that barred this album, or another thing that made this album very average, was the production. There were some production choices on here where I wish he would have just kind of threw some of them tracks out, because some of the production on here just sounds like it's dated, like early 2000s dated. The song Say Twin sounds like a fucking No Limit song. It seriously, that production brings that song down. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It just didn't feel good. Everything with Weezy and Southside though, it felt like they know Lil Baby sound. Like Weezy and Southside did a hell of a job on the songs they produced. And it really does feel like they brought out the best out of Lil Baby. But that's like maybe 15% of the album. The rest of that album, it's all over the place. This production does not sound the best on a lot of these songs. And it just feels like he has a lot of uninspired rapping on here. People want to talk about Lil Baby and his fall off. And they're saying his fall off is like really bad. I just feel like it got to a point to where like, he came out with something different when he first dropped. He switched it over a little bit because he wanted to do some conscious mumble rap, because that was around about the pandemic time. And then when he kind of went back and switched back up to what he knew, niggas was just really not feeling it, or really wasn't trying to get with what he was trying to do now. I don't think he fell off. I just think that we overplayed our hand, and I think we boosted him up too fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just heard something different. We heard that song that he had with Drake, and we was like, oh shit, this nigga's like, he's really next up. A lot of those cosigns, a lot of those songs he was doing, people was really rocking with him. When he was doing shit with Gunna, we was like, these are the niggas that's next up. They're taking two completely different paths right now, and it really feels like Gunna's kind of winning out of all of, out of the both of them. Not to compare them like that, but it's kind of hard not to. And it seems like Gunna has found his lane and got into his own lane, and he's winning right now. A lot of people's just like, man, well, Gunna needs Lil Baby. I'm sorry to tell you, I think Lil Baby needs Gunna a whole lot more. And when you listen to this album, you kind of understand why. This is the first album out of 2 releases he's supposed to drop in 2025. Now, he already mentioned in an Instagram post that he was going to put out the deluxe on the 7th, which is going to be Tuesday. And I don't know what more he can add to this album to make it good, but I don't think it's much. The album really does feel like a drag to go through. I skipped through a lot of these songs. My first listen, I always listen all the way through, but then when I try to give it a second listen, I always, like, if I'm really not feeling the song, I'm gonna skip it and go to the songs I like. There was just way more, it was way more bad than it was good on here. I don't know whose fault it is. I don't know if Lil Baby is really falling off like that. I think we just overplayed our hand. We overplayed how good he is as a rapper. So maybe the deluxe will help this album be better. Hopefully he maybe can resync it. But if he does a lot more of if he makes a lot more shitty production choices, and if it's a lot more uninspired raps, man, you can keep that deluxe, bro. Nobody want to hear that bullshit. For real. Keep that deluxe to yourself, man. I know a lot of people on social media was saying, yo, man, Baby went 15 out of 15. I don't know what a lot of y'all was listening to, but there were just a lot of bad choices made on this album. And you can tell the album had a budget. You can tell he had a budget on here. Now, a pretty good budget as well. So we'll see. I'm going to listen to the deluxe when it comes out. I don't know if it's going to help the album or hurt the album, but if he makes a lot more of those production choices and if he has a lot more uninspired raps, I'm not fucking with it. I'm not fucking with it. And I don't know if I'm going to fuck with the second album he drops this year. So we'll see. But it's out now. It's Lil Baby, Wham. It's on DSPs right now.
Music news.
What a way to start 2025. We got 2 freestyles this week, and both of them sound like people are taking shots. It's pretty good, if I do say so myself. Joey Badass dropped a freestyle called A Ruler's Back. And the internet went crazy. Now, there's a lot of discourse on the internet right now talking about whether he was taking shots at Kendrick or if he was just beating his chest for New York. There are some things on this song that sounds like he's going at Kendrick, but in my opinion, he's talking about more of the West Coast rap. He does mention in the freestyle, he brings up a lot of West Coast tropes. Too Legit to Quit, MC Hammer out of Oakland. He brings up the murals, which whacked out murals Kendrick. He also brings up he's not nominated. Kendrick Lamar is nominated for a Grammy. He also brings up the fact that it's too much West Coast dick licking. Let me preference it this way for a lot of people who are just like, yeah, he's talking about Kendrick. There was a song that Jay-Z had called 22 Twos, where the first line in that verse was too much West Coast dick licking. Now, when you listen to that song and then you think about 96, anybody who has done their hip hop homework should know that that was the year that Tupac dropped All Eyes on Me, which went berserk in 96. I think it went like double platinum that first year. It came out in February of that year, and everybody was talking about that album. Jay-Z's album came out in June of that year, which when he dropped, he was mentioning how people was dick riding the West Coast so hard because Tupac and everything else. Basically saying, hey, let's not forget, we started hip hop. Hip hop lives here in New York. I feel like that reference of too much West Coast dick riding is a reference to 22 Twos. It's also a reference to how many people was really riding for the West Coast in 2024. And that was him just saying, yo, y'all giving these niggas too much credit. You niggas are still on some bullshit. New York is where hip hop lives. And I think that's where Joey Badass was going with that line. So also in the song, he does make a point to say this is that Black Air Force energy. Kendrick did have a song where he had the cover of Black Air Forces. I can see the parallels on where people are saying that Joey Badass is taking shots. Let me throw something else out there to you. Last year, when Kendrick was ruling 2024, and when Kendrick was actually getting out there, everybody was on the West Coast hard. Everybody was like, yo, the West Coast winning. The West Coast out here winning. The West Coast is where rap is coming from. And I honestly feel like Joey Badass is coming out here and he beating his chest for New York. Hear me out. New York has not had anybody dominant in years. They don't even have an identity in hip hop anymore. And the fact that Joey Badass is one of the few people willing to step out and say, one, I'm the king. Two, ain't nobody rapping as good as me, not even that guy on the West Coast. Or three, saying, yo, the West Coast can't fuck with us on the New York side of things. That's saying a lot. New York, God, I hate saying it, but it's the truth. Hip hop is better when it's competitive and when it's regional. When you got regional hip hop, when you got people actually kind of going at it, trying to make sure you show who's the dominant force when it comes to hip hop is better. I think we seen it in 2024. Competition makes hip hop so much better. We loved every second of what was going on between Drake and Kendrick. And for the simple fact that we hadn't seen that in a long time. Niggas ain't been competitive in hip hop in a long time for real. Not no real competition like the rap battle we had last year. But the fact that he's willing to step out on a ledge and say, hey, I'm the ruler. I'm the person. I'm out here. I can rap better than all of these niggas. Says a lot because I ain't seen nobody from New York pull that shit off in a long time or even try that shit. And on the simple fact that a lot of y'all New Yorkers or a lot of New York hip hop, they don't even want to know their identity for real. Y'all niggas was legitimately trying to make J. Cole a honorary New Yorker because he sold out MSG. The fuck out of here with that bullshit. No one has picked up the crown since 50. And you can't say 50 wasn't running New York when him and G Unit was strong in that era. Nobody's picked up the crown. And New Yorkers don't back nobody anymore. They just go with who's hot. Some people was like, oh, Cash Cobain. Remember last year people was like, Cash Cobain runs New York. I'm sorry, but he was just he's hot and that's it. He's popular. I don't see Cash Cobain being the person to run New York hip hop. Y'all was putting shit on Lola Brooks back. Just saying, no disrespect, but I don't think that you guys could push Lola Brooke out there and say, yo, this is who's running New York right now. This is the queen of New York. She's the one, that's where New York hip hop resides. New York needs an identity. And as much as I hate to say it because I'm a West Coast guy, hip hop is better with New York being competitive and having someone there to run things. Y'all don't even back A Boogie. A Boogie is like the man. He's very consistent with his albums. He actually can rap pretty damn good. Y'all don't even give him credit. So what is it about? What's the big deal about Joey Badass coming out and pounding his chest for New York? He's representing where he's from, and he wants people to know New York is where hip hop was born and where it came from. And I gotta respect that. We don't know. I don't think it's a disrespect thing for Kendrick. I don't think he's coming at Kendrick. I think he's coming for people who are talking shit about how great the West Coast is. It's always been like that. Throughout history, New York has always thought they were the best when it came to hip hop. The South has been running things for so long, and the West Coast really just got its restart when it comes to hip hop. New York hasn't been good in rap in forever. Answer this question. When was the last time you talked about a New York rapper that can hang with the likes of Kendrick or Drake or Cole? That ain't Rock Marcy, or that's not the old guard. And no disrespect, that's not an age thing. It's just saying Rock Marcy and all of them, that's the old guard, bro. Who's the new guard? Who's the people who are supposed to be carrying New York hip hop right now? Again, love Rock Marcy. I love Griselda. I love those niggas. But it's just like y'all got into New York drill and y'all couldn't find your identity anywhere. Didn't have nobody to balance out the shit. Y'all had New York drill rappers going crazy. Then y'all niggas was going into this sexy drill bullshit. And just like, well, where are the niggas who are the foundation? Not even foundation, but who are the rocks? Who are the pillars right now? I like the fact that Joey Badass came out and started a whole discourse and got people talking. And I think people need to talk about New York hip hop again. Y'all don't have a king. Y'all don't have a leader to wave the flag. And if we're being honest, he ain't no slouch when it comes to rapping. Joey Badass is one of the baddest motherfuckers out here when it comes to lyrics. We just don't talk about him enough, or we don't give him enough credit for being that guy. I want to see what happens in 2025 because he planted the flag and he threw the first shot. And I love the fact that he did that. We need, well, not we, you niggas, New York needs way more people to wave that flag. Hip hop is so much better when it's regional. It really is. And when people can put their best MCs or their best rappers forward and say, this is our guy, he can go up against your guy, it just makes hip hop so much better. So finally, Drake dropped a freestyle this week also that was on Conductor Williams' YouTube channel. You can't find it now because UMG pulled that shit. UMG is not playing no games with this nigga no more. It's wild. But when the freestyle dropped, it came to a surprise to everybody. We wasn't expecting that. It's called the Fighting Irish Freestyle, where he addressed a few things. He goes into the pop out where he said his brothers fell for the gimmicks. They even brought tickets to it. Where he's talking about LeBron and D Rose going to the pop out and supporting Kendrick. I don't think you should ever diss a nigga who you got tatted on your body. Like, that's just not cool, bro. Don't diss nobody that you got tattooed on you. It's like y'all are breaking up. But he addressed that. He also addressed the 20v1, talking about people dug ditches for him and left him for dead, even though that's not me. That wasn't me. We've done tons of switches. Drake is really being the victim in this whole thing. And even though I enjoy the freestyle because it really goes to show that Drake still has raps, y'all can argue with yourself. Drake can still fucking go. I don't like the fact that he's blaming everybody else for what he caused. If you go back to Euphoria in this whole situation from the very beginning, he riddled a whole lot of warnings throughout that whole song, and you still did the shit that you did. You did this to yourself. You were unfocused, unprepared, and cocky. And that's what lost you that battle. Don't get me wrong. And I don't think people talk about it. And I know Naked Joe Budden said the same thing. Family Matters was a hell of a song. Hell of a song. And I think that people don't really, I said the day that it dropped, I said, yo, this nigga's rapping like he Klay Thompson putting up 60 points in 3 quarters. I said that the day that song came out, because he put a masterclass of different types of flows, addressing a lot of things, and really having some great beats on that. But the problem was he didn't focus himself on Kendrick. He focused on everybody and Kendrick. It was a mess. But when you listen to this Fighting Irish freestyle, it really does paint him as the sad light-skinned boy in Marvin's Room, which, if I'm being honest, that's only one side of Drake. People are coming down on Drake really hard for this freestyle because they feel like he's still whining and complaining and he's being a bitch about everything. I see it as, let me address these things one more time. Let me get this out the way before I come through and actually drop my collab album with Party Next Door. And if you don't think he's not going to drop an album in 2025 to blow the doors off of shit, you're wrong. Now, do you really think that he's going to continue to conjure up the beef stuff? Well, yeah. I mean, one thing about these two niggas that they've been doing all of their career, it seems like for the last 10, 15 years, is subbing each other. They have subbed each other throughout their whole career, and I think it's just a part of their DNA now. Like, I think that's just a part of who they are. Even though we know Kendrick won the beef, even though we know Kendrick has out-rapped this man, they're going to continue to throw subs. And I don't know if that makes the music better. I don't know if that just makes us want to hear them go at it again. But it's just something that I've been accustomed to since I've listened to since I've listened to Kendrick and Drake. They are going to sub each other no matter what. They are the Goku and Vegeta of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's a bad analogy. They are the Ken and Ryu of this shit. I don't know. They're two opposing forces that know each other's moves, and they've done this so long that it's just a natural thing that they do. And I'm not mad at it at all. Do I feel like Drake can bounce back from this? Yes. This freestyle is showing us that he's about to bounce back. I keep saying, I've said it ever since last year during the beef. Drake is going to basically put out probably one of the best albums he's ever put out in 2025. I'm telling you this. Not the PND, not the Party Next Door collab, because that shit is going to be ass. I'm going to just tell you that right now. But a solo album, yeah. I think we're going to get something out of Drake that we haven't got in a long time, and that's actual rapping, and that's actual, like, putting thought into doing this album and not these fly-by-nights. This, what's the word? Not this recyclable bullshit that he keeps doing from the last 3 albums that he's done. I think I think the beef actually helped him to say, hey, I need to start rapping more. I need to get into my rap bag. And I think this freestyle is setting the table for him to get into his rap bag. I know people are tired of hearing him talk about the beef. I personally feel like this is just the last thing he's gonna do and exercise all of those demons from 2024 and move into 2025 and give us one of the best rap albums of the year. That's my first proclamation of 2025. Drake is gonna put out one of the best albums of the year. Whether y'all like him or not, whether y'all want to listen to him or not, whether you guys give a fuck about him or not, he can still rap and he can still put together some fire ass bars. And this is going to be the year that we get that. Once that P&D bullshit is out the way, that solo album is going to be something to be fucked with. I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you, I've seen this I've seen this pattern before, and I'm telling you what I know. So that's one of my predictions for 2025. Well, that's all I got for today, man. I got nothing else. I got a lot out of me. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the show. Look, I am on my way to getting 1,000 subscribers, and I can't do that without you guys. So if you enjoy this content, if you enjoy what I've been giving you guys here in the past year, continue to support me and continue to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Thank you for everyone who subscribed. I will be putting up new Patreon content in the next 2 weeks. I will have that announcement on the community page, so make sure you guys keep tabs on that. If you want to go to my Patreon, this is it right here. And thank you for giving me a great 2024 and an even better 2025, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you next episode. Peace out.
Thank you for joining the STEM Society.